Waluigi44 here, and happy Halloween! Now, since I no longer do a Toy Series, and my power's out, if you hear any voices, just ignore them. My power is out, but strangely my internet's still on. So, in the spirit of Halloween, I figured, why not do a two-part Halloween special and read two creepypastas. We'll be reading Sonic.EXE and Tails Doll. Well, in these two videos. We'll start off with Sonic.EXE. Well, let's begin. I'm a total Sonic the Hedgehog fan, much like everyone else. I like the newer games, but I don't mind playing the classics. Same here, bro. I don't think I ever played a glitchy or hacked games before, though I don't think I want to play any after the experience I had. It started on a nice summer afternoon. I was playing Sonic Unleashed. I like how you get to explore the towns in it. Until I noticed, out of my peripheral vision, that the mailman had arrived and put something in my mailbox as usual and left. I paused my game to go see what I got in the mail. The only thing in the mailbox was a CD case for computers and a note. I took it inside. I looked at the note first and realized it was from my dear friend Kyle. Let's just call him that. Whom I hadn't heard from in 2 weeks. I know that because I'm recognized his handwriting. Though what was weird about it is how it looked. It looked badly written and scratchy and somewhat difficult to read, as if Kyle was having a hard time writing it down and did it in a hurry. This is what he wrote.
Tom, I can't take it anymore. I had to get rid of this thing somehow before it was too late. I was hoping you'd do it for me. I can't do it, he's after me. And if you destroy this CD, he'll come after you too. He's too fast for me. Please, Tom, destroy this godforsaken disc before he comes after you too. It's too late for me. Destroy the disc and you'll destroy him. Do it before he'll quick, otherwise he'll catch you. Don't even play the game. It's what he wants. Just destroy it. Please, Kai.
Well, that was certainly weird. Even though Kyle is my best friend, I haven't seen him in 2 weeks. I didn't do what he asked of me. I didn't think that a simple gaming disc would do anything bad to him. After all, it's just a game, right? Boy, was I wrong about that. Anyway, I looked at the disc and it looked like any ordinary computer CDR disc. Except it had black marker on it written Sonic.EXE. And it was much unlike Kyle's handwriting, meaning he must have gotten it from someone else, like pawn shop or eBay. When I saw Sonic written on the disc, I was actually excited and wanted to play it, since I'm a big Sonic fan. I went up to my room and turned on my computer and put the disc in and installed the game. When the title screen was popped up, I noticed it was the first Sonic game. I was like, awesome! But because I said earlier, I like the classics. The first thing I noticed was out of place when I pressed start was that there was a split second when I saw the title image turn into something much different. Something that I now consider horrifying before cutting to black. I remember what the image looked like in that split second before the game cut to black. The sky had darkened, the title emblem was rusted and ruined, the Sega 1991 was now instead Sega 666. And the water turned red, like blood, except looked hyper-realistic. I don't ask, I don't know what hyper-realistic is. But the freakiest thing was that in the split second the second frame was Sonic. His eyes were pitch black and bleeding with two glowing red dots staring right at me. And his smile had stretched wider to the edge of his face. I was rather disturbed by that image when I saw it. I figured it was just a glitch and just forgot about it. After it cut to black, it stayed like that for about 10 seconds or so. And then another weird thing happened. The save file select screen from Sonic the Hedgehog 3 popped up. And I was like, WTF? What the is this doing in the first Sonic game? Anyway, then I noticed something off. The background was dark cloudy. The sky had bad Stardust Speedway level from Sonic's CD. And there were only 3 save files. The music was out of Caverns of Winter music from Earthbound. Only it was extended as seemed to have been in reverse. And this image for the save file where you see a preview of the level you're on is just red static for all 3 files. What freaked me out more was the character select. It showed only Tails, Knuckles, and to my surprise, Dr. Robotnik, or Eggman if you prefer. Now, I was sure that something was up. I mean, how can you play as Robotnik in a classic Sonic game? For crying out loud. That's when I realized this wasn't a glitchy game. It was a hacked game. Like, oh shit, Sherlock. Yeah, it definitely looked hacked. It was really creepy, but as a smart gamer, sure, whatever you say, I wasn't scared, or at least I tried not to be. I told myself that it was just a hacked game. There was nothing wrong with that. Anyways, shaking out the creeped out feeling, I picked File 1 and chose Tails. And when I selected it, got started. The game froze about for 5 seconds. Weird, you have both the timings down. I heard a creepy pixelated laugh that sounded like an awful, like that Kefka guy from Final Fantasy before cutting to black. The screen stayed black for about 10 seconds or more. Then it showed the typical level title thingy. Except the simplistic shapes were different shades of red, and the text showed only Hill, Act 1. The screen faded in, and the level title vanished, revealing Tails in the Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1. The music was different, though. It sounded like peaceful melody in reverse. Anyway, I started playing and had Tails start running like you would in any of the classic Sonic games. What was odd was that Tails was running along the level, but there was nothing but flat ground for a few 5 minutes. Again, why you had the precise timing? That was when the peaceful music started to lower down into slow, deep tones very slowly as I kept going. I suddenly saw and I stopped to see what it was. It was one of the small animals lying dead on the ground bleeding. That was when the music had started to slow down. Tails had a shocked and saddened look on his face that I never saw him have before. So I had to move along, and he kept that worried look on his face. As he kept moving, I saw more dead animals as Tails moved past them, looking more and more worried, and the music lowers and he moves past more dead animals. I was shocked to see how they all died. They looked like somebody killed them in a rather gruesome ways. A squirrel was hanging on the tree, appeared to be having its entrails hanging out. A bunny had all 4 of his limbs torn off, and a duck had his eyes gouged out of it and his throat slit. I felt sick to my stomach, and I saw this massacre, and apparently so did Tails. After a few more seconds, there were more and more animals, then the music seemed to have stopped. I still kept Tails continue. After a minute passed, after the music stopped, Tails was running up a hill, and then he stopped. It wasn't until I saw why. Sonic was there on the other side of the screen with his back against Tails, with his eyes closed. Tails looked happy to see Sonic, but then his smiles faltered. Obviously noticing Sonic wasn't responding to him, if not acting as if he was totally oblivious to Tails' presence. Tails walked past towards Sonic, and I noticed that I wasn't even moving my keyboard to make him move. So this had to have been a cutscene. Suddenly, I began to feel a growing dread as Tails walked closer to Sonic to get his attention. I felt that Tails was in danger and something bad was going to happen. Then why did you keep having Tails go towards Sonic? I heard a faint static growing louder as Tails was but inches away from Sonic, and stopped and struck his hand out to touch him. That foreboding feeling in my gut was growing stronger, and I felt the urge to tell Tails to get away from Sonic as the static grew louder. Then why did you keep having Tails go towards Sonic? Wait, it was a cutscene. Oh, wait. But really, why did you have Tails keep going anyway? Really? Alright, moving on. Suddenly, in a split second, I saw Sonic's eyes open, and they were black with those red glowing dots, just like in that title image. Though there wasn't a smile. When that happened, the screen turned black, and the static sound was off. It stayed black for about 7 seconds. Again! What's with the timing? And then white text appeared, informing a message saying, "Hello, do you want to play with me?" At this point, I was creeped out. I didn't want to continue with the game, but my curiosity got the better of me when I was taken to a different level with the title saying, "Hide and Seek." This time, I was in Angel Island, level from Sonic 3, and it looked like everything was on fire. Tails looked as though he was scared of his wits this time. He actually looked at me with made frantic gestures to me as if he wanted to get out of the area he was in as fast as possible. I was starting to get freaked out by this. I mean, Tails was actually breaking the fourth wall, trying to tell me to get him out of there. So I pressed down on the arrow key as hard as I could to make him run as fast as he could, and a pixelated version of that creepy theme when you meet Shadow at the Ark as Robotnik from SA2 is playing. And I made Tails trek through the desolate forest trying to help him escape through whatever he was trying to run from. Suddenly, I heard that creepy laugh again. That awful Kafka laugh. Right after 10 seconds. From now on, I'm just going to say timing whenever I see something with the timing! Haphazard, I helped Tails run through the forest. And then I started seeing the flashes of Sonic popping everywhere on the screen. Again with those black and red eyes. The music changed to that suspenseful, drowning jingle as I see Sonic behind Tails, slowly gaining up on him. Flying. Sonic wasn't running, he was actually flying. The flying pose in his sprite was making it look very similar to Metal Sonic's flying pose in Sonic CD, except it was just Sonic, and he had the black and red eyes again. Only this time, he had the most deranged looking grin on his face. He looked as though he was enjoying the torment he was giving the poor little fox as he gained up on him. Suddenly, when Tails tripped, another cutscene. The music stopped, and Sonic vanished. Tails laid there and started crying for 15 seconds. The scene was rather upsetting to watch, and I kinda teared up myself. But then Sonic appeared right in front of Tails, and Tails looked up in horror. Blood started to come down from those blackened eyes of Sonic's as a grin and face looked down at the horrifying fox. Could do nothing but watch. Just in a timing, Sonic lunged at Tails right before the screen went black, and there was a loud squeaking noise that lasted only timing. The text returned, only this time it said, "You're too slow, wanna try again?" And then that god-awful laugh came with it. I was so shocked by what happened. Did Sonic murder Tails? No, he couldn't have. He and Tails are supposed to be best friends, right? Why did Sonic do that to him? Yeah. I shook the shock off as I was brought back to the character select. Save file that had Tails was different. Tails is no longer in the box itself, but the TV screen itself, which was flickering with that red static. Tails' expression scared me. His eyes were black and bleeding, his orange fur had gone black, and an expiration of anguish on his face. Trying to ignore it, I picked Knuckles next. The laugh came again. The screen cut to black again, and it stayed there for another timing. This time the level said, "You can't run." Sorry. I was really freaked out by now. I couldn't really tell if this is a glitch, or a hack, or some kind of sick, twisted joke, or anything really. But despite my fear of what happened next, I kept playing. The next level looked much different. It had the ground the scrap brain zone. I don't know. But the sky background looked like the main menu. It had the dark, reddish, cloudy sky, but the music that creeped me out the most, it sounded like Guy Guess theme that you'd be after beat Pokey in Earthbound. I also noticed that Knuckles looked afraid just like Tails did, though not as much. Or rather, he looked unnerved. He broke the fourth wall just like Tails and looked as if he wasn't sure about going on. But I made him move anyway. You dumbass. He ran down the straight pathway in this dark level, and as he did, the screen started flickering red static a couple times. And then that maddening evil laugh came again. Then after a few seconds of running, I noticed several bloodstains on the metallic ground. I felt a growing sense of fear again, thinking something horrible was going to happen to Knuckles. He looked nauseated walking down this blood-stained road, but I still kept him going. Suddenly, as Knuckles ran, Sonic appeared right in front of him with those black and red eyes, and then red static appeared again. When this static vanished, slowly nothing but black screen with text saying, "Found you." I was now scared. Sonic found Knuckles already? What was going on? Yeah, it beats me you were writing this story. Anyway, red static came again, and then I was on the back to the level. Knuckles looked like he was panicking, and Sonic was nowhere to be found. And this time that high-pitched squealing from Silent Hills 1's final boss was playing. Never heard of it. Was this some kind of boss battle with Sonic? I hope to God it wasn't, honestly. Suddenly, Sonic appeared right behind Knuckles in what appeared to be pixelated back smoke. I made Knuckles turn and then punched Sonic, but Sonic vanished in the black pixelated smoke before I even had to land a hit. That terrible laugh went off again. Then Sonic appeared right behind Knuckles again, and then I made him punch again. Sonic vanished again, laughing. Knuckles was panicking even more, and even I felt like I was going a little crazy. Weren't you already there? Sonic was practically playing with us. He was playing sick, twisted little mind games with me and Knuckles. Right. Pretty sure your dumb acidness is causing this. Did I make a rhyme? Another cutscene played as Knuckles fell to his knees, clutching his head, sobbing. I felt his agony. Sonic was actually driving both crazy. And then in a split second, Sonic lunged at Knuckles and the screen went black, started screaming, and that lasted for at least timing! Another text message appeared. So many souls to play with. So little time. Would you agree? What the hell? What is going on? I started to think Sonic was actually trying to talk me through the game. But I was too scared to think that. I was brought back to the main menu, and this time the second file box had Knuckles on the TV screen. His red fur had darkened to a reddish gray. His dreadlocks were dripping with blood. Great, more blood. And his eyes were black and bleeding too. Blood, blood, blood. Everybody loves blood. And he had a look of sadness on his face. I began to think that those are the actual characters trapped in those TV screens on the save files. But I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. So I shut off the game and took a break. Why would you take a nap? Why? 'Cause I then began to have the most disturbing nightmare. No shit, Sherlock. You played the most horrendous game, apparently. I was in a pitch black darkness, though I was under a light given by a lamp hung above my head. I hear the cries of Knuckles and Tails nearby. They were saying stuff like, "Help us!" and "Why did you give us to him?" and "Run away before he gets you too!" Their cries died out as I heard Sonic laugh. His laugh. It sounded like that distorted Kafka. We get it! It sounds like that Kafka laugh already! We get it! You're a lot of fun to play with, kid. Just like your friend Kyle. Though, he didn't last as long. I was scared and looking around for the source of the voice. Won't be long now till you join him and all my other friends. I saw him walking toward me, flickering in and out in several directions. You can't run, kid. You're in my world now, just like the others. When he grabbed me, I saw his bleeding black, red-eyed, grinning face. I woke up with a fright. After a couple hours, I decided to continue playing. You dumbass. I don't know why, but I had to know. I had to figure out why this was happening. So I turned on the computer, turned on the game, and selected Robotnik next. I still thought that this was wacky, playing as Robotnik. But anyway, the level title appeared again. This time it said ... which I find a little freaky. I don't get it. This time I was in some kind of hallway. Didn't really look like it was from any classic Sonic game. Though, it had a pixelated style. The floor was shiny and checkered. The walls were a dark grayish purple with animated candle lights and a few dark blood stains here and there. Blood, blood, blood. Everybody loves blood! Yeah! And there was a few dark red curtains hanging above the tops. Blood again. Every timing or so that the current red curtains sway very slowly. But whenever you played the game, you could barely see it move. The music was oddly pleasant. The piano playing was a rather sad yet peaceful song. But I knew better. This was a song that played in Hale Act 1. Only it was in reverse. Robotnik didn't look entirely nervous like Tails and Knuckles did. But he did have a suspicious look on his face, as if he was a bit paranoid. He did a little animation when I was just left him standing. He turned his head to the left and to the right, at least twice, and shrugs at me, as if he had no idea where he was or what was going on. Even though I was scared out of my mind about what was going to happen, I had Robotnik continue onward. He did his usual running animation, you know, when you have his beating him at the end of a classic Sonic game, you chasing him. We continue through the dark hallway. Then I stop at a long flight of stairs. Wouldn't it be a long fleet of stairs? Leading downward, now I was nervous. Even Robotnik seemed unsure of himself. Though, I pressed onward. As I led Robotnik down the stairs, I noticed that the walls have gotten darker and more reddish. The red torches are now an eerie blue. Then, we landed on another hallway. This one was longer than the last one. Or at least it felt like it. And then, we headed down another flight of stairs. Again, when it be fleet. This one was much longer. It took at least timing! And then I heard that horrid laugh again. And then the music slowly faded until it was quiet. As it did, the walls turned more dark and red. The torches were black flame now. When the Robotnik landed down to the third hallway, I noticed he looked really creeped out. Though he tried to hide it, I couldn't blame him. I was scared too. Alright. Suddenly, Sonic popped up right in front of Robotnik, the same way he did in Knuckles in a reel, and then red static. The red static lasted for about timing! And then it showed me a most unpleasant image. The image showed a hyperrealistic. But it's hyperrealistic! Of Sonic standing in the darkness where you can only see his face with his head and torso faded in black. And when I say hyperrealistic, I mean he looks so real you could actually see the lines on his. So, you mean a real person in 3D? Wouldn't hyper-realistic mean 4D? The lines on his blue fur. As if you could actually feel the fur if you touched the screen. His face. Oh god, he had the most horrifying smile I'd ever seen. And that's saying something considering I saw that image at the start of the game. His eyes were wide and black once again, crying blood. Blood, 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 everybody loves blood, yay! Which also looked hyperrealistic. What is hyperrealistic?! Sound spike, sorry. I just know that what caused. And there were two small glowing red dots in those black red eyes staring right at me, as if staring into my mind. His grin was wide and demonic. It literally stretched to the sides of his face like a Cheshire cat, except Sonic had fangs. Very sharp fangs. Much like the werehog's teeth, except much more vicious looking. somewhat yellowish from the look of it. He has stains of blood and small bits of flesh on his lips and fangs as if he ate some animals. You mean Sonic is a cannibal? That actually explains so much! I stare at that gruesome image for about 30 seconds. Great. I'm never taking my eyes off of it. I felt as if he was actually looking at me, smiling at me. That face, it just took about timing for it to etch into my brain for good. And the screen flickered with the red static again 3 times. And on the 3rd time I heard, laugh! Except this time it sounded distorted, demonic even. Okay, that laugh sounded even more demonic. It went back to the image again, except this time there was a text again, though it was messed up. But it was pretty much one of those horrifying things I looked at since I had this game. I am God. It was when I read that message while looking at Sonic when it hit me. I realized right there and then, this Sonic was a monster. A pure, evil, sadistic, all-powerful, nightmarish, demented monster. Don't forget, weird, crazy, creepy, stupid, blah 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 blah, you get the point. And all of his victims, including Tails, Knuckles, Robotnik, and possibly Kyle, are just his little toys. And this game is the very gateway into his chaotic, nightmarish world, and the very hell his victims are trapped in. Suddenly, in an actual split second, I screamed as Sonic lunged at the screen, screaming loudly with his mouth wide open. Great, now if it's just foaming at the mouth, he can have rabies. And you just gotta get shots to get that fixed. To an unnatural length, revealing nothing but a literal spiraling abyss of pure darkness before the red static came again. This time much louder and distorted. So loud it hurt my ears. I yelled and grabbed my ears as if the red static lasted for a good timing! Then it stopped, showing nothing but a black screen. As I sat there staring at the black screen, one last text came up. Ready for round 2, Tom? The laugh! Now sounding more clear as if Sonic was right behind me, played again 3 times. As I looked at that text in shocking confusion. Then I booted back to the main menu, and this time the 3rd save file had a TV image of Robotnik in the same tormented state as Tails and Knuckles. Robotnik's skin turned a dull gray, his mustache drooped and had blackened, his glasses broke, and, you guessed it, more blood is coming from them, and he had a mere dead expression on his face. I looked at Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik, and I cried a bit. I pitied them for the agony they were going through. They were forever trapped within this game, forever tormented by that horrid hedgehog, and will always be. Then the computer itself shut off. I couldn't turn back on no matter what I did. I sat there for maybe timing, horrified by what just happened. Sonic is the very embodiment of evil. He tortures people who play his game in more ways than one. And then when he gets bored, he drags you into the game. Literally drags you to hell, where he can play with you always as his toy. I can't get the game out of my computer. I think it's stuck in there. But I managed to turn it back on for now. After I sat there for timing, I heard a voice right behind me, like a whisper. Try to keep this interesting for me, Tom. I turned around to see where the voice came from, and what I saw made me scream. Sitting on my bed, staring right at me, was a Sonic plushie, smiling, with beep under his eyes. And that was Sonic.EXE. The writing on it is very good, but the problem with it, it just falls into a lot of cliches. Like reusing the Kefka laugh over and over, and timing the seconds over and over and over. And the blood, oh my god, you gotta lay off of that. And hyper-realistic? Really? What is hyper-realistic? so real you could feel it? That's real life, and that's 3D. Wouldn't hyperrealistic be 4D? 4 dimensions? And that does not exist? Whatever. And, well, after all, overall, it's still a pretty decent story. And it has spawned a computer game mod for it, I think. I'm not going to play it because I don't want... because I use that for school. Wow. See you in Tillsdale. Wait. I wonder what that was. Well, to be continued, and see you in Tillsdale. Bye. Hello and welcome to part 2 of this Halloween special. Last time we took a look at Sonic.EXE, a good story, just painfully cliched. This time we're going to take a look at another one I think is similar, and that's Tillsdale. Well, let us begin. Gil and his friend Noah were looking for their Sega Saturn at EB Games when they came across Sonic.EXE. Gil was going to ask how much it was, but when he got to the counter, the salesperson said for them to take the game free and to get out. When Noah heard the salesperson say, "Take the game with you," he dropped the games he was looking for and ran over to Gil. "Did he say we could have them for free?" he asked. Gil was going to shake his head no when the salesperson said yes. Gil grabbed his arm. Noah grabbed Gil by his arm and the game and pulled them out of the store to his house. When they got to Noah's house, Noah got his Sega Saturn and Sonic.EXE and put the game in. When the game started, they didn't see Sonic or Knuckles. They only saw what looked like Tails. Noah thought it was just a glitch or that someone hacked it, but Gil knew it was more than a glitch or a game, much more evil. The first thing they noticed when Noah started the first race was that the track was full of dark red and black, and the music was playing "Can You Feel the Sunshine?" but played backwards. Noah thought this was a hack, but Gil thought the game was haunted. He didn't think their copy was the only haunted version of the game. He thought all copies were haunted by Tails. Okay, I'm not reading now, but that just sounds stupid! Now back to reading. When Noah beat the first race, he unlocked Super Sonic. Gil knew that Noah didn't get all 7 Crystal Emeralds, but Noah didn't question how he got him. But he didn't stand up to cheer for himself. "How did you unlock him so quickly?" asked Gil. "I don't know," Noah screamed excitedly. Why are you questioning it, Gil?" "Something feels weird about this game," Gil said. "The game feels haunted or something." "You've been watching way too many horror movies," Noah said. You know I don't watch that stuff, Noah," Gil said. Noah finished his second race with Super Sonic when the game said a challenger was approaching. When the challenger approaching screen faded away, the screen faded into black and stayed black for about 2 minutes. Nice timing. It then cut to a picture of Sonic being violently attacked by what looked like a stuffed animal version of Tails with very loud screaming and laughter for a split second. Then it went to the race. "Okay," nonchalantly. When the race started, Super Sonic was standing on the track by himself after the "Ready, set, go" was said. Super Sonic started to move by himself. Gil looked over to Noah and saw that his hands weren't on the computer. As soon as Super Sonic crossed the finish line, Noah was able to control him, and what looked like Tails was right behind him. When Super Sonic and Tails crossed the finish line, it looked like Tails 1, but it said Supersonic 1. That's when it said they unlocked the Tails doll, and the Tails doll curse! When this happened, Noah and Gil looked very confused. Is that a letter? Noah asked, and all Gil could do was nod his head. Noah went to play as the Tails doll when the letter opened up. Whatever you do, don't read that letter, Gil warned. But Noah didn't listen and read it anyway. While he was reading it, it was the song, Can You Feel the Sunshine? Backwards. When Noah was done, the TV started to vibrate. Noah took a hammer and started to hit the TV with it. The TV stopped vibrating. I stopped the TV from vibrating, Noah said. Okay, why did the author just repeat the same sentence? Oh boy. Yes, but now, how do we play the game? Gil said. I have a TV in my bedroom, Noah said as he unplugged the system from the now broken TV and wall. You do know that your mom and dad are going to kill you for breaking the TV? Gil said. I know, Noah said, but it was worth it. Okay, now I'm not reading. A Tails doll is now after them. Spoilers, possibly, I don't know. And they're worried about their parents being ticked about the TV. Wow, that's just wow, that's really bad. Alright, back to reading. They then went up the stairs to Noah's bedroom. When they got to Noah's bedroom, the broken TV started to vibrate again, and then the Tails doll came out. Noah and Gil were playing a different game because of what happened. They were playing Sonic Adventure 2 on the Dreamcast when the doorbell rang. Noah and Gil went to answer the door. When they opened the door, one was there. Noah closed the door when the doorbell rang again. Noah opened the door, no one was there. He closed the door, but kept his hands on the doorknob. The doorbell rang again, and Noah opened the door as fast as he could, but no one was there. The only thing that was there was a Tails doll. Noah brought it inside the house and washed what looks like a blood off of it in the kitchen sink. When he washed the blood off of it in front of a couple dishes and dried and went upstairs, that's when the Tails doll stood up and flew off the counter onto the floor. Wow. Just wow. He then walked up to the stairs and he flew up them. He went to Noah's bedroom. Gil and felt like they were both being watched by something evil. Hey Noah, do you feel like we're being watched? Gil asked Noah. Are you sure you don't want to watch horror movies? Noah asked Gil. Of course I'm sure, Gil said. I have to go to the bathroom, Gil said. As he was walking to the bathroom, he saw something out of the corner of his eyes. It looked like a Tails doll, so he turned toward his left and didn't see anything. He looked to his right and didn't see anything. He thought it was his imagination and went to the bathroom. When he was going back to the bedroom, he saw something move, so he went to go see what it was. He then saw it move again, walk towards it. Gil saw the Tails doll and walked over to pick it up and bring it to the room. When he brought it up and showed Noah it, Noah asked Gil, "Where did you find it?" "I found it by the stairs," Gil said. "I thought I left it in the kitchen. Anyway, let's play Sonic R again." Noah said, "Don't you remember what happened before?" Gil said. "My God." "Yeah, so?" Noah said. "So do you want to kill your TV too?" Gil said, "That was a freak accident," Noah said as he put the game in the Sega Saturn. He then played the tag game as the Tails doll. And as soon as he tagged the last person, the Tails doll that was in the room came to life. Noah and Gil both stood up and walked toward the door. Noah opened it and they both ran as fast as they could down the stairs and almost got to the front door. The Tails doll fell in front of them and killed Noah with his razor-sharp claws. Okay, since dolls have claws. This made Gil very angry, and he grabbed the baseball bat and started to swing at the Tails doll, each hit missing. He swung it one last time before the Tails doll caught it and broke it. Gil then stepped on its head and ran to the kitchen to get one of the kitchen knives and swung at the doll again. The Tails doll caught again and killed Gil. Of course, you dumbass. The Tails doll went back to the kitchen upstairs TV. The police then came into the house because the neighbors called to say they heard a lot of noise coming from Noah's room. But when they got there, Noah and Gil were both up the stairs in Noah's bedroom. One of the police officers took the Sega Saturn to the station, and his partner said there was no murder weapon. And that was the Tails doll. The problem? The characters were too stupid! Really? Do I need to prove it? Just read it again! You'll see what I mean, they're just too stupid! Don't go after the Tails doll! The story is just so enjoyably bad, it's good. And I did have a lot of fun with it. It's just too stupid. And I was obsessed with that story, and I never even read it. I only heard about YouTube videos for it. That was just stupid. Oh my god. Damn, the noise again.